Town of Pembroke Park, regular code meeting, Code Enforcement Board, Thursday, February 27th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Here.
Mr. Malley is absent, excused. Ms. McLean?
Here.
Mr. Schrader?
Here.
Chairperson Jansen?
Here. Swear in any people giving testimony tonight?
Anyone that's here to speak on record, can you please stand up? Raise your hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Item 4A, approval of minutes, January 23rd, 2020 meeting of the board. Motion to adopt as read.
Make a motion to adopt the minutes of January 23rd, 2020.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Chairperson Jansen?
Yes. Case 4891, Joseph and Joyce Chupsky, formal hearing, sections 5-103B, exterior maintenance roof, 5-103G, exterior maintenance signage, 13-2, storage of abandoned property, 28-346, C3, portable storage units, non-residential, 28-346, C&F, portable storage unit, no permit, first offense.
Good evening, Chairperson, Code Enforcement Board.
Hello?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. My name is... Got it? My name is Jeffrey Lewis, Code Enforcement Supervisor for the Town of Pembroke Park. Speaking on regards to case number 48.
Is that you? Turn, Jesse, you here?
Here, you want mine?
Hold on.
Maybe we got overworked last night.
Want to just let him use mine? No.
It's on. Yeah.
Hello? Testing? We are, okay. Case number 4891. This property is located at 4200 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. This is in regards to a abandoned vehicle on the property, portable storage unit, and then building maintenance as well, which is the roof shingles and also the sign. This violation was written back in January 27th of 2019. I'm sorry, 2020. In regards to the violations, the property owner actually has taken care of majority of the issues, such as the portable container was removed by February 18th, 2020, and also the abandoned vehicle was removed on February 18, 2020 as well. The only portion that is still outstanding is the signage, in which he's working on trying to have the sign painted, or the reinforced beams of the sign to be painted, and the roof has also been painted and taken care of. I do have photos to submit into the records for the case, which were taken by me, and they accurately depict the violations.
What date were those photographs taken?
The dates of the photographs taken was January 27th, 2020, February 18th, 2020, and February 21st, 2020.
Okay, are those separate dates marked on the photographs?
Yes,
Okay, and they accurately represent the condition of the property when you took the photographs?
yes.
What's your recommendation?
Recommendation is to give 30 days to correct the violation, since it's only one portion that's left. Otherwise, it will be a $50 per diem for every day that it's out of compliance. I believe the property owner is here.
Board, state your name and how you relate to the case, please.
Yes, my name is Joseph B. Chopsky, and I'm the owner of Fish's Paradise, 4200 West Hollandale Beach Boulevard. I do want to say that if I had known I was in violation of all these particular things, I would have corrected them immediately. But I had no idea that you needed a permit to have the storage unit put on the building and in the back of the building. And while one of my staff members was parking his car behind my building for storage because he didn't have room at home, so I didn't know that was a violation as well. So, and the shingles on the roof were fixed or corrected, so again, I didn't know that was a violation. Now, being a business owner, I'm sure you probably feel, as a business owner, you should recognize what a violation is or what isn't a violation, but again, I had no idea these were violations. So,
Code officer has recommended 30 days. Is that good with you?
yes, that's fine.
Have any further questions?
There's one other thing I want to say. I do agree with what the town is doing, trying to get the town in nice looking order and so forth and so on. And I always try to abide by all the rules. It's just something that I didn't know at the time was beyond the rules.
Okay. Go ahead, you can make the motion, Ms. Roach.
I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4891, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violation must be corrected within 30 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 30 days, the board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Schrader. Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Chairperson Jansen?
Yes. Case 4589, J&U v. LLC, formal hearing. EC Sections 110.15-40, year inspection, first offense.
was the number, Mr. Chairman?
4589.
5B.
Okay.
All right. Case number 4589, J&UV, is located at 1730 Southwest 30th Avenue. This is in regards to the building itself in regards to passing its 40-year inspection with the building department. I'm going to turn it over to our building official, Miguel, and he's going to explain what the issue is.
Good evening, board members. My name is Miguel Nunez. I'm the Town of Pembroke Park building official. At this point in time, I would like to present this case. First of all, they failed to provide or comply with the provisions of the 40-year inspections in accordance with the Florida Building Code, Section 11015. This 40-year inspection was originally submitted in August 28, 2015, where a company with that report, there was a letter by Mr. Jan Solis, P.E., the engineer who actually performed the report, stated that the building has substantial unsafe conditions and it was actually basically an unsafe building. That letter was dated the same day, August 28, 2015. Further, the previous building official, Alan Corriveau, have additional notifications and communications with the property owner in regards to the corrections for this particular building. At this point in time, the building still remains vacant. Conditions are still unsafe, based on unsafe conditions. Therefore, we look forward for a final order so we can continue with the process. If you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
Do you have any photographs of the condition of the building, sir?
Yes, there's photographs taken today, actually.
And what did the photographs depict?
The photographs depict, at this point in time, mansards being deteriorated, siding damage on the building, and substantial damage in the roof and so on like that. So,
And who took those photographs?
these photographs were taken by Jeffrey Lewis, code enforcement officer.
Okay, and do they accurately depict the condition of the property when they're taken?
Yes.
So it's exterior that is in danger of, or is it interior also?
Basically, it's the whole building, because when you have the 40-year inspection, the 40-year inspection is a structural and electrical inspections on the entire safety conditions of the building. And if it doesn't pass, then they need to provide corrections to those particular items. The engineer was very specific on the letter, which you have a copy in your files, stating that the building actually cannot even be occupied.
So it is not occupied now?
At this point in time, it's vacant. Yes, sir. It's not occupied.
And where is this located?
This is located at 1730 Southwest 30th Avenue, corner of Pembroke Road and 30th Avenue, right in front of I-95. It's a long metal building, Pembroke Road and I-95, if you want to use that as a
7030 Southwest 48th Avenue? Is that what you
30th
said?
Avenue.
30th Avenue, thank you.
Between the tracks and I-95.
Yeah, right
Okay.
between the tracks and I-95.
South or north?
It's on the north end.
So are they in the process of doing any of the renovations, or is that what the building permit is on the next?
We've been waiting for the building permit. I've been informed that today they submit something. I haven't seen it as a building official nor as a plans examiner for the town, so I cannot attest of the veracity of that particular submittal. If it's going to be sufficient for the corrections that the engineer on the report states.
What's your recommendation for the board?
My recommendation is a final order, and with fines continue immediately, because it's been for a long time. That means
Okay.
When was the notice
what
given,
actu-
the
can-
first notice?
Can I ask a question? What
Yes.
actually needs to be done in order for this building to be brought into compliance? Is it a significant amount of work that needs to be done?
it appears so based on the results that we have from the 40-year inspection. And we need to have the building again recertified as a safe building. In addition, as a building official, I'm in the process of revoking the certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is still a first offense, so I mean, you were saying to have this done,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
with
no,
all the fines
right.
and everything, but it's still considered a first offense.
Correct, and based on his testimony that it's an unsafe structure, you can make the period for compliance to be shortened in order to limit the, you know, the danger to the public. So if you were to say, give them 10 days to correct the violations, or, you know, and then after that period, invoke a fine, and then you know, hopefully that will give the property owner the incentive to go forward and start getting these violations corrected. But yeah, I agree with you that yes, since it is a first offense, they need to have some period of time for the corrective action. Sounds as if they had plenty of time now, but since it's the first time before the board, if you give them that an additional 10 days, and then at that
Yeah,
point.
but is that enough to do everything that,
Well, you know, that's up, we'll find out, you know, but they you have to balance both the threat to the health and safety of the public, and then with the property owner's right to correct their violations. It appears to me as though they've known about these violations for quite a period of time, and no action has been taken, so you can't.
well, why didn't we take action then
Well, we.
prior to that to really enforce them to, I mean, if you're talking about 2015, 2015, and then now you're in 2020, that's a long gap
It is.
for us to come up here before us, and then all of a sudden only give them 10 days to
Well, in the same,
get their act together.
But by the same token, they've known for this period of time that there's violations and they've done nothing to correct it. So it doesn't appear to me that they're in any hurry to do it. And I think maybe it would be helpful if the board were to give them a short time frame to encourage them to begin the process of correcting these violations.
Question. It might be that they don't want to repair the building because they don't plan on occupying it. I mean, it's not currently being
Well-
occupied or used correctly for a business. I mean, it's not an ongoing concern right now, is it? Is that correct?
The building is still considered unsafe building because we have a licensed engineer attesting that it is considered an unsafe building. So
But are they-
we don't know at this point in time how unsafe the building is because it could be catastrophic. In addition, to answer the other board members' question, these conversations are already happening in 2015. That's why I mentioned a few minutes ago that this conversation happened between Alan Corriveau, the previous building official, and it appears that those conversations went non-fructuous in regards to the corrections of the building.
Well, if the building is that unsafe, why don't they require it to be demolished down then?
That needs to be, that might be the next, that will be the next process. At this point in time, we thought because it was a 40-year inspection, take it under this board, and probably later take it under the unsafe structures board for demolition if the owner does not get motivated in order to get the building corrected.
Appears,
And I take it there's nobody here in the audience representing them? Oh, okay.
You beat him to it, you took his
Okay.
job away from him.
Okay, so let's hear from the
Would you like to
property
come forward and state your name and how you relate to the case, please?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for hearing our case tonight. I am with the engineering company VLC1. This is the property owner's wife, Judy, and this is the project manager that they had retained for the project. My name is Joseph Shurdar. So VLC1 came onto the project in 2017 as a response to obtain a building permit to correct the items from the 40-year inspection. The building itself is a metal building with corrugated metal panels that, due to the nature of the tenants that were there, were damaged over time. So part of the 40-year correction was to repair the metal panels, damage that was done by previous tenants. We initially submitted a set of plans in September of 2017 for a 40-year correction. Upon the building department, they made us take those plans out, resubmit a different set of plans in 2018, April of 2018, April 20th, 2018. We actually did obtain a building permit that same year in June 2018. So they obtained a building permit to correct the structural and electrical items that were deficient in the building. The building does have a fire sprinkler system, which was maintained up until that point. And in the process of doing all the repairs, the inspections, the electrical inspections actually were performed and passed. During this process, the owner's husband actually was very ill with cancer, I believe. Well, he's still, but in the process, they had major health concerns on behalf of the owner, and the project manager himself. So that set him back a little bit. So initially, they did have a building permit to do all the corrections, and then because of their situation with the health, that building permit did expire. It did expire. So we were brought back in to resubmit the plans under a new review. So they did not know that, you know, they can just pay a fine or pay the fee and get the permit back open. In October is when we resubmitted everything finally, and through that resubmittal process, we had a lot of new comments that came up from fire review and from structural review, which Mr. Miguel himself was very kind with us whenever we requested to meet with him and to move forward to get the building permit for a second time to be able to do the repairs that are required. So the building as it stands, it was vacant because they can't rent it out as it is, and they can't perform the work because now their permit is expired. The work was, the scope of work was repairing the damaged corrugated metal paneling. There was not any kind of major structural, because the building is not a concrete building, it's a metal building. So they are looking to re-obtain that building permit so they can finally close out the structural and the electrical portions of the building. This morning was submitted a review for the fire department because we had discussions about when the building was permitted with the fire sprinkler system, which they did have up to date, which they do have a contract with the fire sprinkler company to monitor it.
How much time do you think you get
The building permit?
Right, I mean,
We're in the I think this is the third review time for fire, so we're hopefully this time we met Mr. Craig Braun. Hopefully we met all of his comments, and we are hoping that as soon as he can review it, he can give us the approval and they can continue to do the repairs on the building, because they have been actively repairing the building. They had a lot of troubles with the tenants that were there at the time, cleaning out massive amounts of garbage that was left by them, which they cleared out on their own time and money. So they did try to put forth a good effort to rectify all the.
but how many, I mean, we're looking at days, I mean, we're gonna find guilt right now, but we need to know, I mean, how much time to extend you before they start accruing, fine.
How much time do you need
to get, right.
for the permits to go through for you to be able to start again? Saying 10 days, is 10 days enough for Pembroke Park to be able to give the man his permits to go through and start with this?
Pembroke Park currently is within a week's time of preview all the plans that is submitted to us. Unfortunately, like the representative from the owner has alleged, it's a third review cycle. Like I mentioned earlier, I do not know the conditions of this resubmittal, and I cannot ascertain if that resubmittal will be sufficient or not for approval. So I cannot recommend when it's going to be approved, because if we have comments, that depends on when the engineers or the architects submit back again any requested comments in accordance with the Florida Building Code or the Florida Fire Prevention Code.
Okay, but what I'm saying though, you had mentioned before, give him 10 days, but if he's already submitted or to get permits, it's then in our box to be able to then give him the permits to be able to start something like this, and it would be up to us then to say, okay,
Right.
10 days for Pembroke Park to be able to give you the permit so he can do the work.
I don't know that a fully,
They don't have a permit yet.
permit has been issued.
No, it hasn't been
Filed.
issued,
It
but
hasn't been filed.
he-
It hasn't been filed. The application hasn't been filed for everything they need yet. They're talking about one component.
Oh, I thought you said that it was filed
No,
already,
just
that
for
you
the
came
fire.
into,
No, they did have a building permit.
But that's expired 2 years ago.
No, this building permit was issued on, like I said, July 1st of 2018, and since then, they were working in that building. So I think whenever that 180 days goes.
Okay, so is there an active building permit now, Mr. Nunez?
No, there's not an active building permit right now.
okay.
And just to clarify, not because they have submitted a response to our initial comments.
Okay.
Means that we're going to approve the plans, depends if those comments
Gotcha.
are not in accordance with the building
Yeah.
code.
Okay, no, I had heard that
Yeah, okay.
there was a permit and there's, okay,
There's an application for permit.
gotcha.
Further questions?
I make a motion that based on the evidence oops, sorry,
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
the owner's wife,
okay.
It's-
and we've been trying to
State your name,
get
please.
Judy Mayer.
Can you hear us?
Judy
No, in the
Mayer.
microphone, please.
Judy Mayer.
You hear me?
And we've gotten people, unfortunately, a lot of people have taken money and have taken off. I've tried everything I can. I have a husband who is very, very ill. I've been in New York with him. I've been in Texas with him, and he's got stage 4 cancer, and I'm relying on people to help me. I don't know the first thing about business, and I've been asking him, and he's been helping me, and then he had a stroke, and I didn't know where to go. And I have my architect here, and I'm just trying to get everything done, and every time he submits something, this is not good, that's not good, so I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to keep the building.
Again, I would recommend the shortest available time, based on the historical actions on this particular building, and the shortest available time. Hopefully, they will be in compliance at this time.
Miguel, I'm sorry, did you want to submit the pictures so that they could see them?
Thank you.
As it was mentioned before, these photos were taken this morning by Code Enforcement Officer Jeffrey Lewis.
Is that a canvas awning going across the blue part?
Yes. Yes, there's a mansard that runs across the building, and we do realize that the exterior of the building has been defaced with some graffiti, and we just like to say that has been attributed to the fact that nobody has been there to work, because we do not have a valid permit right now. So, and any exterior to the siding, to the metal corrugated paneling was supposed to be corrected as part of the building permit.
Clear. Maybe Harry can help me. Are we finding guilt?
Yes. And
Harry, you need to speak in the mic.
How many days it is to do what?
to get a permit, and what you may want to do, usually you don't do this, usually you just have you give an X amount of days to comply and with a permit and all work approved by the city. But in this instance, what you may want to do is give them a certain amount of days to obtain a duly issued permit by the city, and then depending on what the city says, how long it would take after the permit is granted, what they estimate it would take to comply. If, once they get the permit, how long do you think it would take for them to comply?
With everything.
But do we know
I
all
will
the
leave that to,
Yeah.
we don't know what all the recommendations are.
Excuse me, Mr. Hippo, if I might interject.
Yes, sure.
On this case in particular, this is for the, not being in compliance with the 40-year inspection. So I think what the corrective action is, is to come into compliance with all the conditions that were listed in the 40-year inspection. And that would need to be done in order for this case to be in compliance. I respectfully disagree about the just issuance of the permit, because that is just the starting point for getting this problem resolved.
Okay,
And what we've done before is you give them the incentive to come in here, get the violations corrected, and then if it takes longer than expected,
And come back.
And if the property owner has extenuating circumstances, which it sounds like she
Yeah, but
does.
we don't know what's in the 40-year.
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
it
they
doesn't,
do. They do, because it's been issued for years and it's outstanding, and so that they can go ahead and get that
So we're
work
giving
done.
them basically 10 days to come to Pembroke Park to file.
no, to comply.
Yeah.
X amount of days to comply with what the 40-year compliance, and then after that is, until there's compliance, a per diem. So you have a one-shot deal rather than having, I misunderstood, so rather than a permit, because we don't know what the permit necessarily will be for
Right.
until,
There
okay.
could be several permits that they need. It could be
So,
mechanical, structural.
How about this?
There's
So-
a time frame we're giving for them to come into compliance, is
With the
that,
for
with the
everything.
conditions of the 40-year inspection report.
Right,
or to get it started? Because, I mean,
No,
even
no,
10
not-
days or 15 days wouldn't.
not
get it done.
started, to get it completed, okay, to get it complete. So give them 30 days to complete
Whatever the items
everything.
are on the 40-year,
They have to complete it within 30 days.
For each item?
Well, yeah, if you have to complete for each
Yeah.
item,
Okay.
you know. So if there are 4 items and they only complete 3, then they're still in violation. They have to complete each item. Fully complete all the items.
Yeah, but shouldn't we know how many items?
It's in your report,
Yeah.
the 40-year inspection report, I think is in your backup.
In my packet? All right.
I would like to submit to the board the 40-year inspection and the letter from the engineer. I don't know if you have any.
Oh, thank you, sorry.
That you have it, or you can have it right here. You have including the indications of the previous building speed, including in 2017 and everything. I speak loud, I'm sorry. Yes, I would like to submit to the board the 40-year inspection, including communications to the previous building official, and the letter from the engineer attesting that the building is unsafe, including a letter from the VLC1, which is the current architect, since 2017, addressing or communicating with the previous building official and promising that the work is going to be corrected. And obviously, we are 3 years later and still not performed.
Right, so 30 years to comply with the 40-year report,
30
period.
days, you mean? You said 30
Pardon me?
You said 30 years.
Years.
30 days
Oh,
with
okay.
the 40-year.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, you had said
Compliance
30
report.
years.
No, I said comply with the 40 years, give them 30 days, and that way, after they comply, they can come in. If they comply within 30 days, fine. Otherwise, if they don't comply, then they can
Well, he was
come in
given
for a
10.
mitigation or an abatement down the
Not
road.
enough.
Well, then you decide how much.
30, I'll go 30, but not the 10. All right, I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4589, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violations, that the violations must be corrected within 30 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 30 days, this board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Rhodes, seconded by Mr. Rhodes.
Yes.
Mrs. Green? Yes. Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Chairperson Jeremy?
Yes. Case 4590, J&UV LLC, formal hearing, sections 5-2, no building permit, second offense.
Yeah, got that one. That's 5C.
This is the same building, yes. Case 4590, J&UV, same location is 1730 Southwest 30th Avenue. This is in regards to new windows that was being installed in the building without any building permits. Now, as you just heard, they still need to pass their 40-year inspection. And the problem is that if we're issuing permits for the new windows with an unsafe building, it's not really recommended to do that. This violation came about as of September 17, 2019, where we noticed that new windows were installed into the building. Since this is a repeat violation, because they had previous violations that came to the code board regarding work done without a permit, we're recommending that it's a repeat violation, so fines should start as of today, and the recommended fine amount is $100 per day. I do have photos to submit into the records that shows the windows, the new windows on the building.
When did the new windows go in? September 17th?
The violation was written in September. We noticed that the windows
No, when the windows go in
the windows were in by July
of this year,
of 2019.
2019.
Were they listed in the 40-year inspection?
That was not part of it.
Joseph Sirdar. The windows that were the pictures that they were included in that building permit. Those windows were installed under the previously approved permit, and that's why you see them there. So there's a little bit of, I think, of a miscommunication with the timing of everything. So those windows were not installed outside of building. There was no separate window permit because it was included in the original approved master permit.
Saying the windows were completed while you had a current building permit that's now expired.
Yes.
But they were completed under the old permit.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
That's your district.
If they have been completed under the old permit, that permit has expired. Therefore, that permit is null and void, which is invalid for those windows anymore.
When were the windows completed and when did the permit expire?
I don't have any information on that.
I would like to remind the board that while the windows may have been installed on an active permit and they were never inspected and the permit become expired, in accordance to the provisions of state statute and the Florida Building Code, any work performed under an expired permit becomes a work without permits.
Okay, that clarifies that. Thank you.
Questions? You have any?
May I speak?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Leon Craig. I was the project manager, and I still am, kind of, in a sense. Now, windows were put in. They were on the original plans that were approved, and they were, we had the building permits during that time. They stopped us while our permit was still open during that time and told us that we didn't have a permit, but yet they were on the plans that they issued the original building permit for. We also had an electrical permit. It was all done, the 40-year electrical. It was done under Don Johnson. He inspected everything. So those windows were actually being put in under the permit that was still active. They stopped us and said we couldn't do it because there was no permit, but if they'd have reviewed the plans, they were actually on those plans that were submitted.
Like the inspector just.
He just
stated.
kind of, yeah, but he kind of said that it was expired, but it
Right.
wasn't
Yeah, this-
expired at
this
that
one,
time.
yeah.
The permit
Yeah, but you
was not
still didn't
expired.
have a final inspection
Right.
for them either.
And that make-
No, we hadn't got a chance to because he stopped us. And we've already, and we, in our warehouse, we've already purchased all the material to put on to the, onto the building. We have everything we need. The thing was, like I said, I had a stroke, her husband had cancer, and things just got dropped, the ball got dropped, and this is what happened. But, I mean, we had everything in place, and now that we're resubmitting everything, it's getting more difficult to get the same plans and everything reapproved. I don't understand why, but like I said, the electric's been done. Now, my electrical permit was actually approved through, it's the only one that's been approved. Everything else has been denied through the notes. But that's just a formality now for Don Johnson to come back out and check everything that was done. Just for formality at this point. But like I said, everything was done while the permits were open and not expired.
Jeffrey, quick question. Do they need to get a separate permit for this, for the windows, apart from everything else?
If they have it part of the master set of plans, that would be fine, but at the same time, if the permit that was being used to actually do the work expired with no final inspections without anything to show that it's been approved, the permit is null and void,
Right.
it doesn't count.
But, no, I was asking if they needed a separate permit since we have it under a separate,
They can submit for a separate permit for the windows itself to be approved, but they can do it as a master set of plans.
Because they already did the windows, they just need to get it approved. It was, as the building inspector said, it wasn't inspected, right, and finalized. So they need,
Building itself isn't in good shape.
Unfortunately, and it's a big unfortunately, it's not as easy as that. Those windows, they may or they may not be approved at this point in time because everything depends on the notice of acceptance or product approvals when those windows install. At this point in time, since I don't have that information in my hand, I don't know if those windows are approved under the 2017 Florida Building Code. I can tell you that these windows may have been approved under the previous building code, but that doesn't signalize that it's going to be the same as of today's building code. And that's one of the issues about when you have a code change, everything changes. So I cannot attest if that's going to be approved or not.
So can we just throw these windows in with the rest of the stuff that needs to be done?
Separate case.
Recommendation.
So we would just do like we did on the last one? Allow the X amount of days?
To obtain a permit and
Permit.
for the windows to be approved under the new permit. Well, what I was gonna ask is does this town have a procedure to reopen a lapsed permit? Or do you have to have a new permit?
Miguel Nunez, building official. That procedure is not actually in the town code of ordinances. It is actually written in the Florida Building Code, time limitations,
Okay, so
and state statute.
could they do for a fee? Can they reopen the prior permit so that they might be able to sort of try to expedite it? And it may not pass because it was never approved under the prior permit, or, I'm just trying to see how the matter could be moved along, so.
I understand.
Yeah,
And yes and no. Everything depends on the notifications of the town. If the town has notified them about the 30 days required by state statute to the owner and contractor that the permit is set to expire and the permit expires, now they need to start a brand new permit.
okay, all right, they can't reopen.
They cannot reopen
It's
it if
died. Okay, that
unless
answers-
we have not sent the
Okay.
notifications.
That answers the question. Thank you. All right. So they have to come back for a new permit, and they'll have to go through the motions to find out whether the windows that they put in there are subject to approval under the new permit, and they may or may not be. They may not have been okay under the lapsed permit, the one that died. We don't know because the city was never called in to take a look and inspect and give final approval, so they have to start fresh. Is that summarizing it, you know, sort of a
Yes,
little?
sir.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4590, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violations, that the violations must be corrected within 30 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 30 days, this board imposes a per diem of $100 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Discussion? Call, please.
Motion was made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McCray.
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Yes. Chairperson Jansen?
Thank you, good luck. Case 4556, 3441 Hallandale LLC, hearing to abate fines, sections 5-103H, property maintenance, 12-48, outdoor storage prohibited, 28-188, illegal use of property, 28-346, C 1, 2, 3, and 4, portable storage units, first offense.
My name is Jocelyn Ramirez. I am the Code Enforcement Officer at Town of Pembroke Park. And I'd like to give a quick summary about the case. Case 4556, I issued a notice of violation on June 6, 2019 for property has illegal storage containers, equipment, and construction materials. The owner was advised to remove any illegal storage, equipment, and construction materials immediately. 15 days were given to remove all items on a vacant lot. The owner's here. Unfortunately, I was not in direct contact with the owner. It was actually Jeffrey Lewis, so he was communicating back to me that they were aware of the situation and they were gonna remove everything. On August 6, 2019, we had a formal hearing. They were given an additional 15 days to remove. However, like I said, they kept direct contact with Jeffrey Lewis. They communicated to him that they were trying to remove everything, and they were subleasing the vacant lot to a contractor that all those materials belong to. But they had no permits or any rights to maintain all those items on the property. The property was only a vacant lot. September 4th, 2019, they were in contact with Michael Miller, the zoning planner, and they told him in a letter that I'd like to read a statement actually from the letter, that the vacant lot strictly prohibits these activities unless active construction is occurring. All of these illegal activities have been occurring on the site for quite some time. It has been brought to the town's attention. The land is being leased out by the landlord to a construction company. These illegal activities must cease immediately and be totally removed from the site. Until this occurs, the further review processing of this application may be suspended.
Where'd that letter come from?
From Michael Miller, because
Okay.
they submitted some plans to be reviewed, because they wanted to do some development. On October 11, I had direct contact with the owner, and he advised me that he didn't know about the matter. But through Jeffrey Lewis, he was aware. Jeffrey Lewis actually spoke to his associate Eddie. Okay, and
But this has already been.
yeah,
there's
like
already
I
been
said, I wanted to give you a
violation of the
brief
fine.
summary of the case
Yeah.
since it's been such
Okay.
a long time.
Yeah.
So today we're here to abate the fine. The fine ran for 143 days at a rate of $200 per day, with an administrative fee of $100. The total amount is $28,700. And my recommendation is to reduce the fine to 10%. So it will be $2,870. And as I mentioned, the owner's here.
Step forward and, information on the case. Yes, come on forward. State your name and how you relate to the case, please.
My name is Avi Shlomo, and basically I have the two lots. I have the one that we had last time, that I paid a fine, and since then I was cooperate with the building department, with the code enforcement regarding the bigger lot. And all what happened was miscommunication. That's about that, you know. And since then, I learned my lesson. I know that. Oh. Since then, I learned my lesson, and it was just miscommunication. And I comply with whatever they told me to do, and just asking for the board if they can pay the fine to the original fine. And this lot, I'm going to develop the lot. So it was the first offense. I didn't know about it, and I'm just trying to do the development in the city, and that's about that.
Questions?
Yeah, the original fee you said was 28,700, and you wanted to go down to 2,000,
10%.
Recommended.
2870.
and you were renting out the.
No.
I thought you had containers or something that.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. During the term of the violation, it was being rented, right?
That's what.
During
Yeah.
during the period while the fine was accruing, it was being rented, correct? To another third party?
So you were making money off of the thing the whole time.
No, I didn't make the money. It was only for like a couple of months until they came and told me, listen, you need to remove it. So I just
Motion?
Make a motion, that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4556, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation.
We already have that, we just need the, fine.
The Code Enforcement Board will accept the recommendation of the Code Enforcement Officer to reduce the fine to 10%, $2,870.
Grant the gentleman and his company 30 days in which to pay. If it isn't paid within 30 days, reverts back to the original fine. You can just incorporate what I just said, okay?
Yes, the fine of $2,870 will need to be paid within 30 days, and if not, it will revert back to $28,700. $1,870, 10%.
What you said, it's the
Recommendation.
10%.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Schrader. Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Rhodes?
Yes.
Chairperson Jansen?
All right, thank you, sir. Case 4601, E&M Properties, 2665 LLC, Sunshine Provision. Hearing to confirm fine, sections 15-17, no business tax receipt, first offense.
The
7A.
last one, 7A.
Thank you.
Yes.
Case, Officer Jocelyn Ramirez, case 4601. We confirm a fine of $4,150. The fine ran for 81 days at a rate of $50 per day with an administrative fee of $100. The total is $4,150.
Confirm.
What was the amount again?
4150.
Make a motion to confirm fine of $41.50.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Chairperson Zanza?
5A, case 4904, Your Mobile Solution, Inc., formal hearing, sections 5-15, no business tax receipt, first offense.
Jeffrey Lewis, Code Enforcement Supervisor for the Town of Pembroke Park. Case number 4904 is for Your Mobile Solutions, Inc., which is also a T-Mobile retail store located at 4520 West Hollandale Beach Boulevard, Bay 3. This is in regards to no business tax receipt. Spoke with the representative there with a courtesy warning back on January 10th, 2020, notifying them that they don't have a business license at this current time and they need to apply. That was for 15 days and nothing happened. A notice of violation was issued on February 5th in regards to no business tax receipt. As of today, they went ahead and actually submitted their business tax receipt on February 26th. They're still in the process of finishing their inspections, which are called in for the inspections, but haven't been completed as of yet. So currently, they still do not have their business tax receipt. The recommendation would be for 10 days. If not, it would be a $50 per diem for every day out of compliance.
Make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4904, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violations must be corrected within 10 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 10 days, this board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Mr. Schrader. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Chairperson Zanza?
Aye. Case 4773, GLADY'S, DUPRAT, Lakeshore Mobile Home Park, formal hearing, sections 5-105, no building permit, 28-272, number of occupants, first offense.
My name is Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer. On December 4th, 2019, I issue a notice of violation on property 102 David Drive at Lakeshore Mobile Home Park. I observed that the property had multiple additions, multiple windows, ACs and AC unit, central AC, I'm sorry, multiple alterations, windows, sliding doors, stairs, enclosed porch, and shed without permits. I gave 30 days for the owner to obtain a permit. she was in contact with me, and she wrote an email explaining that she was going to go out of town and that she needed more time to comply. The extension was given to her. She had until February 2nd to comply. As of today, there hasn't been any permits obtained. And the owner is present.
Like to come forward and give testimony on your case? Name and how you relate to the case?
My name is GLADY'S DUPRAT. My English is very bad. I try to speak English, but
Have a translator.
It is for translation and for my situation. I am 15 years in this country and all the time legal, all in this country working inside this resident. Now it is 2012, it is citizen. Now my age, it is 76 years old and working today.
Hello, hi. My name is Paulina Bell. Good evening. I'm a friend of hers, and I would like to translate for her to make it easy.
I'd like to enter photos into the record that clearly depicts the violations.
I will speak her first, and then I'll translate whatever she.
Good.
Dile que compré ese mobile home en 2008 al parque.
¿La violación estaba en ella?
No, reparé, o sea, fueron reparaciones.
Pero hay instalaciones de ventana y cosas.
Esas son reparaciones que yo le hice al trailer. Yo compré ese trailer destruido total al parque.
She's saying that she bought a mobile home in 2008 to live with her husband, and she made some repairs of the mobile home. The mobile home was in very bad shape, bad condition, and she tried to fix it a little bit, and
traté de arreglarlo, cambié ventanas, puerta, un ingeniero me regaló un aire acondicionado.
so she's saying that she changed some windows and doors, and un aire acondicionado, and added an AC, air conditioning. She did it little by little. What else do you wanna?
No sé qué más, cómo ponerme legal, cómo
¿Pero no preguntó?
pregunté a un contratista. Dice, tengo que tener firmas de ingeniero, firmas de ingeniero.
She,
contratista.
sorry, well, during this time, she was asking to a contractor how to fix those violations, the addition that she did, and the contractor said that she needed engineers, different engineers for plumbing and electricity, and the problem is that her husband is sitting over there, and they don't have the means, the money to pay all that, the engineers and also the contractor. It was just an advice from the contractor for free. And she doesn't have the means because her husband is disabled right now. He doesn't work for years. She's 76 years old, and she works part-time delivering pizzas. So it's a problem with the money. She doesn't have money to afford all those fixing and.
I also like to state that she needed to verify the occupancy at the mobile home because there's 3 entrances. So it seems like more than one family is living in a single wide mobile home.
En el mobile home solamente vive mi familia, ¿cómo se llama? Ex esposo de una hija mía,
Okay.
que vive en Houston, ha vivido ahí, y ha llegado, y una familia, solamente familia.
Okay, she's saying, well, her family, just her family is living there, like the ex-husband of one of her daughters, and some other relatives. So it's just her family that is living there. She don't. It's not like
Ex-husband of her daughter?
It's relative. It's like it's a person that is an ex-husband of one of her daughters, and who else is living there? Family members.
A woman, American, a very, very friend mine.
And a friend of
People live in
yours.
the house.
And a friend of hers, yeah. So it's la total de la gente. There are five people
many
living there,
bedrooms?
including them, her and her husband, and 3 more.
Hay
Family. 4.
What's the number that's,
4 bedrooms in a single wide house.
Entonces, un dormitorio grande, lo dividí por dentro para darle
Sorry,
privacidad.
yes. The big living room, she split it so she can give someone else to sleep there, like one of to help.
Allowed.
She's mostly really helping, but
No. There's only a certain amount of people allowed in one house, a certain size. And she's got more people.
what's the legal requirement of Ms. Ramirez so they understand?
I'm not sure what is the requirement of people living in the house, but it has to be one household, meaning that all the family has to be related.
All the family has to be what?
Related, has to be related family members.
Yeah, like there's only like, what, 1 or 2 people per bedroom, but she's packed her house down to in the living room and everything.
There's 4 bedrooms, huh? Or 4.
Yeah, because she's divided the living room.
The ordinance 28-272, number of occupants per mobile home or recreational vehicle, it says, the number of occupants of a mobile home or recreational vehicle shall be limited to the sleeping accommodations for which the mobile home or recreational vehicle was designated. No mobile home or recreational family shall be occupied by persons other than the members of one family.
What's your recommendation, Ms. Ramirez?
Given her circumstances, I will recommend 30 days for her to obtain a permit. She has to obtain and complete it. Once she does that, she can come back to the code board and request more time.
And if
But
she
also for the people, the amount of people that are living in the house that aren't supposed to be, she's got 30 days to.
Well, she's stating that they're related. It's up to you.
You also have a business tax receipt. So is she operating a business as well out of that, or is that?
No, there's
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry, that's on
That's a
the
different
next one.
yeah, sorry.
Okay,
No
I'm sorry.
room for a business.
I'm on the other.
No room for a business.
The permit.
So
Permit.
she would do all this and maybe they don't even pass inspection because this looks like this was done by friends and family or whatever?
I cannot say if her addition was correctly built. That would be something that the building department has to decide. If the building department decides that it's not correctly built, which it seems like it's not, from my experience, they'll have to demolish that addition.
So then we're giving her, say, 30 days
To obtain a
to
permit.
have it inspected and to come
It's
in
30
compliance with permits.
Right, to get a
days
permit.
to obtain a permit and to.
And complete it.
Complete whether it needs to be polished or not. And adding a room on without a permit is
Right.
candidly
It's a
is a rather
violation.
serious
Yes.
matter. I mean, it goes on oftentimes, but I mean, they're blatantly admitting that they did that. you know,
Yes. So 30 is too much, or
What?
not? 30 too much?
No, 30 days,
Let's go
and then,
30.
you know,
Alright.
if they don't get a permit, if they don't obtain compliance with what the city determines is correct, I mean, it maybe the extra room here is okay, I doubt it, but if it is, then that's fine. If it's not, then they need to either nuke it, remove it, or whatever, or obtain compliance. Otherwise, a per diem.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'd like to make a comment. I'm guessing the lady didn't know that these people needed to get permits to do all this stuff. Am I correct?
She found it after
Yes,
the fact.
yeah.
That's
Él dice
right.
que fue Altelina que tú no sabías que cuando hiciste esos arreglos que necesitabas un permiso para esas cosas.
No, y dile que estoy, la manager, la antigua manager, nunca me dijo que para cualquier cosa que se hiciera había que
She
hacer.
said, yeah, she said when she was doing all this fixing of the house and was cleaning a little bit for another room, she didn't know. She did it like slowly, little by little during the years. And the manager that was there back then, the manager of the whole mobile home community, didn't say anything. Like the manager, and she was talking to the manager, I want to do this, I wanted to fix this window. Manager didn't say anything, and
How long
nothing
has
at
she-
all. Like she needed permits and everything else. Yeah.
How long has she
Well,
lived
what
in
about
this
the peop-
house?
What about the people that
How
were
long
doing
has
work?
she lived in the house?
You, from 2008 to 2008? For instance, 2008.
2008, that's a long time.
So who was doing the work? A contractor or friends?
It's like really like handyman people, like friends, like yeah, really whatever she can afford, really, because she cannot
That's
really
why
afford.
she needs the permit, okay.
Motion.
The air condition, it is a friend venezolano, ingeniero eléctrico,
She even got like hand-me-down things, like the AC was a gift from a friend, like a used one, things like that. Yeah, like
Okay.
a door was another gift from another friend, because she cannot really afford all that money, so she's like receiving help.
This is rather, you know,
Very
good.
it sounds whatever, ignorance and all the other stuff, but with that many people in there, an extra room, what if, God forbid, something
Thank you.
happens?
A fire.
The fire or, ma'am,
Gotcha.
it's not a matter of being sorry, you know, there needs to be compliance and a penalty for this type of action. This is pretty blatant, you know, I don't know how else to put it, so.
Make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4773, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance select sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violations must be corrected within 30 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 30 days, this board imposes a per diem of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
And Chairperson Jenkins?
Okay. Case 4571, 5H.
What is it? 5H.
5H.
Got it. Thank you.
Call the next case, sir.
Case 4571, CD on 31st LLC, 2037 Southwest 31st Avenue, formal hearing, Section 5-2A, no building permit, 15-17, no business tax receipt, first offense.
Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer. Okay, on October 23rd, 2019, I issued a notice of violation on property 2069 Southwest 31st Street. The business owner installed a racking system and power outlets without permits, and also didn't have a current business tax receipt. The business owner has been in contact with me. They were given 30 days from the initial violation to correct it. They've requested more time because after the fire inspection, there were other requirements like an exit that they needed to build. I gave them an extension to February 23rd to complete their permits and obtain their business tax receipt. My recommendation, because of the unforeseen events, I will recommend 30 days to complete all permits and obtain their business tax receipt.
Present in the audience?
They are present, and I'd like to enter photos into the record that depict the violation.
Come forward and state your name, how you relate to the case.
Good evening. My name is Rick Chapels. I'm a construction manager for the Kelsey Group. We're the landlord for the tenant, and we are attempting to help them resolve the issues. And the officers have given us, they gave us 30 days to get it taken care of up front before they even issued it. And during that time frame, we're getting the permits ready, so we're getting the plans ready. By coincidence, our permit, which was issued, the first set of it, was issued on the same day as the violation notice. So on October 23rd, we got the first set, but we failed plan review a couple of times because of some fire requirements. We need to add a new egress door to the facility because fire regulations have changed over the years. Well, the 30 days is awesome, thank you, but I'd really like 60 because I'm a construction manager. And doing a quick kind of a breakdown on what it's going to take to finish the project, I put together that, if you'd like a copy of it. It'll take us 49 days to get all the way through the process. And I don't know if that's of interest, but I could give you a copy of it. But basically, the challenge we have is, thank you, is when we're doing an egress door, which is going through the outside of the building, there's quite a few structural. We passed our first structural inspection yesterday, so that we could actually put the door in. But then on the exterior of the building, we also have to make a landing and railings. I can't even design the railings until the concrete's poured, and then it takes 3 weeks to get the railings built and installed. So the 30 days are going to expire by about 19 days prior to us actually being complete. So if we could get 60 days, I'll be 100%. That includes the time. We also need, after the completed permit, you need about a week to get the BTR inspections, just because of the process. Just because even though we finish the permit, we won't be in compliance until the BTR inspections are completed, which take yet another week, because we'll go through Michelle for that and get those scheduled. And I can't schedule BTR inspections until the permit's finished. So respectfully, we ask for 60 days, if we could.
But you had 30 days, and then you had another extension, and now you're adding another one for the third time, and now you're adding a double time.
Well, what happened
did you do
is,
the first two times?
well, the first two times we went through plan review, and we came up with a lot of different options to try to fix the fire requirements. One of those were we can't add fire sprinklers anywhere close to the time frame that it would take, and that was one answer. We came up with a couple things. We met with fire, but the last revision of the plan, the first plan went out in October. The final revision was submitted to the building department on the 30th of January, and we picked up the permit on the 18th of February. And we had the first inspection, which we passed yesterday. So we're not dragging our feet to fix it, but we took quite a while going back and forth with our engineer and our architect to come up with something that would pass fire plan review. And we went through, I think, 3 or 4 plan reviews.
Questions? Motion?
I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4751, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances section listed in the notice of violation, that the violation must be corrected within 65 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 65 days, the board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Yeah, I was just asking her why, how she came up with 65 days.
Oh, those with the extra 5 days.
So there won't be any excuses. There's enough time
Okay.
to get it done.
Second.
We don't have to visit it again.
Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Schrader. Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
No.
Chairperson Jansen?
Yes.
That's a,
Yeah, 3-1, it passes.
So, let's see, 5E, case 4630, Discount Auto Parts, Inc., Advanced Stores, 479 formal hearing, sections 11-32, overloading dumpster, 11-33, public nuisance, 21-21, window signs, 28-346, scene 3, portable storage unit, non-residential, first offense.
All right. Jeffrey Lewis, Code Enforcement Supervisor for the town of Pembroke Park. Case number 4630 is located at 3000 West Hollandale Beach Boulevard for the unit of Elegant Beauty Supply. This is in regards to the building maintenance and also overloaded dumpster and a portable storage unit. The issues that's here is that the had a portable storage unit in the back of the building without any permits or any approvals to have it there. Secondly, the roof there was roof damage to the building that has been sitting up there, and that needs to be corrected and taken care of. Next is the overgrown vegetation that's around the property that needs to be addressed. And the sign coverage, which is in the window signs, they had the entire windows covered with advertising. And in our regulations, you can only have 25% of the window covered.
What was the date of the inspection?
The initial
violation.
The initial violation was issued in September 5th, 2019. In regards to all the violations, we've been in contact with the business owner and the property owner as well to have everything corrected. And we've gone back and forth through email trying to meet to correct the major issues, which is the overloaded dumpster and the portable storage unit. Unfortunately, they have not responded into getting the overloaded dumpster taken care of. And as of January 13, 2020, I wrote another notice of violation, giving them 15 days to remove that dumpster, certified mail, and still it has not been resolved by the property owner. So our next step is to have the town remove all the overloaded dumpster, trash, and debris, and then bill the property owner for that. The only thing that has been taken care of at this current time is the portable storage unit that has been removed. That was actually recently removed on October 22nd, 2019. Unfortunately, it reappeared, and then they had it removed again in February. February 20th. I'm sorry, in December 3rd, 2019. I have photos to submit into the records, including emails that accurately depict what the issues are and how long it took for anyone to respond. The recommendation would give them 15 days to have everything corrected. This has been going back and forth with the building department as well in order to have a set of plans to fix the roof damage and yet still nothing has been submitted to the building department as of today. So the recommendation would be for 15 days, so that way they submit the permits, get that taken care of the roof portion, and have the dumpster removed as well.
Now, that would include the dumpster removal also?
Correct. If they don't have it taken care of, we will go ahead and remove the dumpster and charge the property owner for it.
All right, I make a motion based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number
I'm sorry,
4630. The Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances section listed in the notice of the violation, that the violation must be corrected within 15 days from today, and a mandatory administration fee of $100 been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 15 days, the board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Another comment on this violation as well, which is part of the ordinance, is having waste service to haul away the trash and debris. Currently, they do not have a waste service set up with our franchise hauler Waste Management, so they would need to restore their service as well.
Are they currently abiding by the used oil, used stuff like that, batteries?
It's not the auto place.
They
The
own
beauty parlor place next to it.
Oh.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So they
Okay.
own the building though? I guess they lease it out?
The auto store owns the building, correct.
Okay, that's what I figured.
That portion of the building is being rented by the beauty supply store.
So everything we talked about was based on the beauty supply?
Correct.
Okay. Did somebody second?
I did.
Okay, roll call, please.
Motion made by Mr. Schrader, seconded by Ms. Roach. Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
Yes, but do we have to have an extra little thing to put in to add what he put?
Restore the dumpster service from.
Yes,
Waste
we have to add that into his motion? Anybody? Harry?
What do you think? I mean, I don't know.
Yes, to add as part of the motion to restore their waste service with Waste Management.
So then he needs to amend or whatever to add
Your-
this
Your motion.
bit into the, wake up down that end.
Restore the waste management dumpster service.
Okay,
You're doing an addendum to your,
on the so corrected,
No, just saying you need to change what you said to add what he said
Restore the
to
service.
restore the garbage
Okay,
service.
you're voting on that in addition to what's already been.
in addition,
Okay.
they must get a
Vote.
waste,
Management service.
Yeah.
waste management service.
Correct. Second.
Roll call, please.
Okay, so just to verify, there's a friendly amendment, to add restore the waste dumpster service.
Correct.
Okay, so Ms. Roach, you.
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
yes.
Chairperson Danforth?
5D, case 4624, 3180 Pembroke LLC, formal hearing, sections 21-23, no building permit, first offense.
Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer, case 4624. I issued a violation on August 8, 2019, and on property 3180 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. Signs were removed without permits. Property owner had to obtain permits from the building department. They did obtain their permits for the north and east signs, but they are pending final inspections. I'm going to recommend 15 days for them to complete their final inspections and close the permit. That should give them enough time to satisfy the violation.
Sign removal?
Yeah, they removed the sign without permits.
Make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the code enforcement on case number 3180, the code enforcement.
46.
Oh, excuse me.
That's the address.
4624. The Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violations must be corrected within 15 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 15 days, the board imposes a per diem of $50 for each day. The violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Chairperson Jones?
Yes. 5F. Case 4644, Peter Michael, Warehouse 1800 LLC, formal hearing, sections 15-17, no building permit, first offense.
Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer. For case 4644, property 2401 John P. Lyons Lane, Unit B9, B10. I issue a violation on September 11, 2019 for no business tax receipt, and the business owner was conducting business at the time. The business owner is still pending the process. He has come in to apply for a business tax receipt but hasn't completed any of the inspection or the process. So I am going to recommend 10 days for him to complete it and obtain his business tax receipt. But he has been 5 months.
Excuse me,
Since.
this 4644, no building permit on mine.
Okay, that's a clerical error. We'll fix it. It's no business tax receipt.
Oh,
For case 4644.
Okay, I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4644, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances section listed in the notice of violation, that the violation must be corrected within 10 days from today, and a mandatory administration fee of $100 has been assessed. Violations are not corrected within 10 days, the board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Motion made by Mr. Schrader, seconded by Ms. Roach. Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
yes.
Chairperson Jones?
5G, case 4645, Diaz Design Productions, Inc., Warehouse 1800 LLC, formal hearing, sections 15-17, no business tax receipt, first offense.
Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer. For case 4645, I issue a violation on 9/11/2019 for property 2401 John P. Lyons Way, Unit B25-26. This is, the business owner was conducting business without a business tax receipt. It's been 5 months since they have completed the process. Michelle Grooms from the Business Tax Receipt Department advised me that she just has to issue the certificate and they have to come and pick it up and pay for it. So I will give them 10 days to complete that.
Make a motion that in case 4645, I don't know if we confirm it as a
Well, this is
code enforcement, or we just
This is a
let them,
final
give them
order,
10
so-
days or 11 days to pick up their permit?
Or do we?
They're already in compliance.
Are we stating there's a violation?
Okay, they have to pick up the certificate and pay for it. So they're not in compliance until they come and pick it up and pay for it. It has taken them 5 months
Okay.
to get to this far.
All right, I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4645, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violation must be corrected within 10 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed if the violations are not corrected within 10 days. This board imposes a per diem of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Yes. Chairperson Hughes?
5J, case 4874, PLRZ Corp., formal hearing, sections 5-103H, trash and debris, 13-2, storage of abandoned property, 21-19, prohibited neon signs, 28-346, C1 and 3, portable storage unit, non-residential, first offense.
Jeffrey Lewis, Code Enforcement Supervisor for Pembroke Park. Case number 4874 is for 4050 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. It also goes by the name of Peace House of Meats. This is in regards to exterior maintenance, storage of abandoned vehicles, neon signs that are in the window, the coverage of the entire window with signage, and a portable storage unit in the back of the building. The property owners, business owners are one. They actually started taking care of the violations immediately. This violation was issued back in January 27, 2020, and the following day they went ahead and removed the neon lights from the windows and started taking off the additional window signs from the windows and brought it down to 25% of their storefront. A week later, they went ahead and had the trucks that were abandoned, had tags to go ahead and make sure it's in compliance. The last thing that they have to take care of is the portable storage unit that's in the back of the building, and they're working with building department to have a set of plans submitted to try to keep that portable storage unit in the back. The owners went ahead and submitted an email requesting additional time. They are recommending to have an extension of 90 days to have that portion completed, since everything else is in compliance. My recommendation would be for 60 days to have that taken care of. Otherwise, it'll be a $50 per diem if not in compliance.
Is anybody here representing them? Audience? I'm sorry.
Bob, you're losing your
I
job. God,
What he said.
What he said, you sound like the rest of us.
Yeah. No one present in the audience representing that case, 4874. So Mr. Lewis's recommendation is for 60 days.
60 days.
Correct.
Care to make a motion?
Make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4874, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violations, that the violations must be corrected within 60 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected in 60 days, this board imposes a per diem of $50 for each day the violations continue until corrected.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Brooks, seconded by Ms. McLean. Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Chairperson Jansen?
5K. 4886 Holiday Hallandale LLC, formal hearing, sections 27-73, vegetation and removing trees, first offense.
So, case number 4886 is Holiday Mobile Home Park located at 3140 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard. This particular issue is located between lot 221 and 223. This is for a removal of a tree that they cut down without any permits from the county. The notice of violation was issued on January 31st, 2020, for the removal of the tree, and I have photos to submit into the record.
What kind of tree was it?
It was 2 palm trees that was in the middle of 2 lots. They wanted to remove it to create space and clean up the property, but there was a tree that was in between that was damaged, and when they pulled the root, they decided to cut the whole thing.
So this was the park management that did this, or the homeowner?
The park management.
They're required to have that landscaping, right? So that's why they can't remove those.
Correct. Anytime there's a tree that is being cut down or removed, it has to be approved by Broward County first. There are tree authority agents.
Palm trees?
Even palm trees.
So what's the remedy for this?
The
Permit.
the remedy is to receive a
I
permit.
understand, but I mean,
They have to
it's
replant trees?
it's already taken out, so
Correct.
what?
The county could go ahead either impose a fine or also have a recommendation to put new trees at
Another
a different
tree
location.
to replace it.
And your recommendation is?
The recommendation is to give them 15 days to get their permits from Broward County to show that everything has been corrected. If not, then it would be a $50 per diem until they receive that.
Yeah, but if
permit.
the county is the one that's telling them they're in violation, then why isn't the county the one that's, why are we?
We have it in our ordinance to have tree removal as a violation, but our tree authority is actually the county.
That's only for businesses and not residents, right?
No, it's for everyone.
Everybody.
So if I plant my own
You're
palm
doomed.
tree and I want to take it down, I have to get a
You
permit
would
to
require a
remove
permit
it?
from
Even
Broward
though I
County.
planted it and I didn't get a permit to plant it?
Correct.
Oh, boy.
Don't plant nothing.
I
You're
already
better
have
off.
them.
To
It's too
install a
late.
tree or hedges or so, you don't need a permit, that's required, but if you are removing, they would like to have a permit to remove because they want to make sure it's replaced with another tree.
But if it's damaged by a hurricane, which I had and we have to say.
Then that's exempt.
We're not
That's
here for you.
FPNL did it actually. Okay.
So is the management currently working on this, or you don't know? Are you not aware of it?
I am
or-
not aware. I haven't had any communications to let me know that they received their permit, but they are aware of the issue and they need to correct it. I even spoke to the landscapers at the time of the violation.
So they are working on it?
Yes,
Okay.
but I don't know where they are in the process.
Can I abstain on voting on this?
Is it in your park? No, you don't have, do you have a direct pecuniary interest? No, you can't.
Next question. Make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4886, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violations must be corrected within 30 days? 15? Excuse me, 15 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 15 days, this board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Roach, seconded by Mr. Schrader. Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McNeil?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Ms. McNeil?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Chairperson Jones?
5L, case 4889, Investment Lawyers LLC, Alex Hudson. Oral hearing, sections 4-5, keeping of animals, first offense.
Jocelyn Ramirez, Code Enforcement Officer.
Okay, thank you.
On January 30, 2020, I issue a violation on property 5100 Southwest 41st Street, Unit 201. I actually got a report of feces all over the balcony. Upon investigation, the dog was on the balcony, and there was feces all over. Too much. I notified the owner or the tenant, Alex Hudson, who rent there. He had 1 day to comply. I informed him I was going to come the following day to inspect the property. When I did come the next day, he refused entry. He yelled, argued, and I told him, okay, we'll discuss this at the code board. So I am going to find guilt on this matter and have a fine assessed until the tenant calls in for an inspection. And I'd like to enter photos that depict the violation.
Many days?
Huh?
Many days?
No days.
So we're going to find guilt with no additional time to.
No
correct the
time.
violation?
I issued a violation on January 30, and we're in the 27th of February. There has been no effort whatsoever to contact us. We did send the notice out, the formal hearing.
And again, is this, what is this place? Is it an apartment or a
Yeah, it's a condo unit.
condo unit?
How many animals do you know? Or you don't
One.
know because you didn't get to
I saw one.
And you can't get the animal control to go there to?
I reported it to animal control.
Thank you.
Motion?
I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4889, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances section listed in notice of violation. That the violation
Corrected with 0 days.
has not been corrected and no further days from today will be allotted. I'm kind of adding a couple words. A mandatory administration fee of $100 been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 0 days, this board imposes a per diem fine of $50 for each day the violation continued.
Just to amend that a
Wait.
little bit, since it is a first offense, it has to give some reasonable time, so we would recommend 5 days instead of 0.
I amend to the amount of days from 0 to 5.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion was made by Mr. Schrader, seconded by Ms. Roach. Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Chairperson Jones?
Yes. 5M, case 4890, Pembroke Road Center LLC, formal hearing, sections 28-346C3, portable storage unit, non-residential, first offense.
Case number 4890 is located at Pembroke Grove Center, 3930 Pembroke Road. This is in reference to a portable storage unit that was added to the back of the parking lot without any permits or any permission to do so. The violation was written back on February 3rd, 2020, giving them 15 days to remove it. The property owner actually sent a notice to the tenant to have that removed, and I took another look at it, and it was removed by February 26th, 2020. So the violation has been cured and taken care of. However, I would like to find guilt. In case they have another one, it would be a repeat violation.
Was the violation corrected prior to the date for compliance?
No, it was corrected prior to the first hearing, the formal hearing.
So we don't have to assess any per diem, we just assess the administrative fee?
Correct.
Okay.
Motion?
I make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4890, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinances, section listed in the notice of violation, that the violation must be
Already been
Correct.
corrected.
and that the
That there is a violation?
A fine has been assessed, administrative fee of $100, and the violation is in compliance. Right?
That's it.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Call, please.
Motion made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mr. Schrader.
No,
I'm sorry. You made the motion?
I made a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, if you want to put him down, I don't care, but.
Made by Ms. McLean, seconded by Mrs. Roach. Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Ms. Roach?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Chairperson Jenkins?
Yes. 5-0, case 4949, Dado Real Condominium Association, formal hearing, sections 11-32, overloading dumpsters, 11-33, deemed a public nuisance, 11-34, responsibility of property owner, 11-46C, non-payment, 12-41, accumulations deemed public nuisance, 12-46, failure of owner to comply, first offense.
Case number 4949 is located at 5100 Southwest 41st Street for Condado Real. This is in regards to their 2 dumpsters that they have on the property that is not being maintained properly. The dumpsters have been overloaded with household trash, garbage, debris, and also debris along the actual dumpster enclosure as well, which has become a nuisance. The homeowners association should be responsible to have that taken care of, and they have not responded to our notices for that to be cleared up. I would like to submit photos into the record, and this violation was first written back January 4th, 2020, and I apologize. It was written first at December 21st, 2019, and then the notice was amended on January 4th, 2020. As of now, through the efforts of the town, they went ahead and cleaned up that property, and we plan on billing the association for the cleanup. But for the violations that are still remaining is that they need to reactivate their services with the waste hauler.
That was my question. How many days you giving them?
Contract with Waste Management too, Mr. Lewis? Can they do an independent?
No, it would have to be with a franchise waste hauler since it's considered commercial.
How many days? Recommend?
I would recommend 15 days for them to reactivate their service since everything else has been cured through the town.
Anyone present in the audience representing case 4949? Record shows no one present.
make a motion that based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4949, the Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violation, that the violations must be corrected within 15 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 15 days, this board imposes a per diem of $50 for each day the violation continues until corrected.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please.
Motion made by Ms. Rhodes, seconded by Ms. Letitia. Ms. Rhodes?
Yes.
Ms. Messing?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader? Chairperson Jones?
Yes. 5P, case 4950, Condado Real Condominium Association, formal hearing, sections 5-103A, exterior maintenance of building, 5-103C, repair of exterior building, 5-103I, overhanging objects, 5-103K, parking lot repair, 5-103H, trash and debris, 5-103L, landscape maintenance, first offense.
Case number 4950 is for Condado Real Association, located at 5100 Southwest 41st Street. This is in regards to the building maintenance, in regards to the exterior services of the actual building, their fence. They have loose and hanging structures. They have potholes in the middle of the parking lot. Overgrown vegetation along the hedges of the building and also outside the exterior wall that faces 41st Street where everybody walks down or drives by. This violation was written back in January 10th, 2020. And as of today, nothing has been corrected. I do have photos to submit into the records.
Did you take those photographs?
Yes, I took those photographs and they accurately depict the violation.
On what date? Is the date on the photographs?
Yes, the dates are on the photographs. There's two different dates, January 10th of the original violation, and then February 25th, I did another re-inspection.
Little offense.
No, not at all.
Oh.
So nothing has been done?
Nothing has been corrected. On the exterior surface of the building, there are bullet holes that needs to be filled in and repainted.
Yeah, that's the building that was hit over here.
There's tires, there's plywood, trash and debris that needs to be cleaned up. There's exposed electrical wires on the inside and the outside of the building that needs to be fixed.
But there's structural damage too.
Building occupied?
The building is occupied with tenants. There's probably 60 or so more condos in that.
Units?
Yes, units.
60 units?
Correct. Roughly. There's also light fixture issues and the fire panel hasn't been working as well.
Anything, I mean, you got structural damage and everything with that
Balcony
place.
could fall down.
Yeah.
The balcony roofs as well, those
Holes.
the ceilings have been falling down onto the property owners' balconies.
Yeah, but you even have the poles that are loose, and if you got a kid there, and all they do is just push the pole a little bit,
On
the
the
kid's
balcony.
gonna go.
Right. And that's the structural damage that needs to be corrected.
So I would say the recommendation would be 0 days, right?
I would recommend,
Have to
you have
give
to
them
give
Well, you
some
have to give
time.
them 5 days. You can't do 0.
I would say give them 10 days. The other thing is that after the 10 days, if there's not any compliance, and I'll here defer on the city attorney, then if they don't comply and do what they're supposed to do, then the city ought to take it into its own hands and do what some cities call abate, not abate, reduce the fine, but go and cure it itself and then lien the property. So that might be a possibility, overhanging objects or parking lot repair, well, sorry, the trash and debris.
I'm worried about the fixtures of the place.
Okay. No, I'll tell you what, strike what I just said, because there's so much here. Just make it 10 days, within 10 days, forget.
We reached out to the homeowners association to go ahead and have this cured, but we haven't had any response from the homeowners association or the property management company as well. And we sent everything certified. We've got return receipts showing everything has been signed, that they are aware of these issues, but hasn't
Can't
done
shut them
anything
down?
correct.
Shut them down?
This just
I
an
mean, that's a-
oversight on the scene before.
How can you
Some-
not see that?
Some of the issues have been relevant before, when which we have spoken to management about that, and they were in the process of trying to get these corrected. But since November, anytime we try to get a hold of anyone that is part of that association, we haven't had any response.
We don't have, Harry, I don't know, but we don't have, like, I'll say, condemned stickers or something to put up on,
What I was, see, the
because
thing is,
that's not good, those.
it isn't. Ultimately, I think the city could put boards up if there are, windows that have been broken into. I don't see that here. But
I'm
parking,
worried about the balcony rails and
I know,
everything.
but parking lot repair is something that I don't think the city would necessarily
No,
want to
I'm
do.
talking about like the balcony and the ceiling and all that. If it comes down or the kid pushes on the balcony,
I was suggesting to the board that, is there such a thing that the city could, on its own, after the 10 days, if there's no compliance, take care of these violations and lien the property, or does the city not get into that? I know we don't do it for cutting grass and vegetation, but this is a
I
little.
think that's it's a question could be better answered. by-
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Go to Director.
Yes, Chairperson, board members, I'm Miguel Nunez, building official. There is an alternative to make them having voluntary compliance, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah.
That would be the Unsafe Structures Board. At this point in time, the town has an interlocal agreement with the Broward County about the Unsafe Structures Board. And we are, at this point in time, contacting the board so we can have access to their system, so we can start initiating cases in front of them. Therefore, I would suggest that this case be cited as an unsafe condition. That way we can start motivating the property owners maybe to achieve some sort of compliance until such time that if they don't achieve compliance based on your recommendations, then we can take it to the Unsafe Structures Board. At that time, we should have the process in place for that reason.
Yeah, that, you're absolutely right. I remember now, you're refreshing my recollection. Each of the cities could have their own Unsafe Structures Board. Now it's delegated to the county.
Yes.
I believe. So after 10 days, if they don't completely comply and fix all these matters, then it should be referred to the Unsafe Structures Board for them to act appropriately in finding that it's an unsafe structure. And ultimately, when they have their hearing, they do have the authority to, I'll call it nuke the property ultimately and lien the property. So that would be what the motion would be, all right?
Allow me-
10 days.
10 days to repair it, to comply. If they don't comply, then authorize the unsafe structures or refer it
You
to
want to
the.
just give them the fine and let him just step in, he'll know in 10 days to do that?
Okay, but get the board to authorize it just in case. It doesn't hurt. And then you'll take care of it after that.
And I
But
will
that-
take care of
you're right,
that,
you're right.
and I would like to expand that one of the functions of the Safe Structures Board is basically is based on Florida Building Code, Broward County Administrative Provisions, Section 116, and basically there's two outcomes on that. Either they repair the property, or the board recommend demolition of the property.
Right.
However, that depends on the cost of completion and so on like that. In this case, based on what I see on the photos, it will be correction. If they don't do it at a certain time, then will be the tough question, because the building shall be vacated.
Okay, one other question. Would it do us any good to put, instead of $50 per diem, to put it up to the $100 per
I
diem, or
was
because
hoping you'd
it's?
say that. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Thank you. 100 enough?
You do have the
Probably
option
not,
of a
but
maximum
100 will
of
do.
250.
Because this
Let's
is,
say with 100
you
for
can
now.
infer that this is just intentional. I mean, it's sitting there, I don't know what the value of any other properties are,
Yep.
but this is having a horrible effect on.
It's not gonna be
Just a little
fixed in 10
background,
days
Mr.
anyway.
Hippler.
Well, pardon me?
It's not gonna be fixed in 10 days,
Well, I know
for
that's
sure.
the whole point.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they want to, or they could come in within the 10 days and say, well, they're going to take care of it,
They need
and the
to have a
city
plan
might
at
want to
least.
reconsider down the
Right.
road, but,
They
you
need to
know.
have a plan at least to fix
Exactly,
it, and I mean that
exactly,
you could
because
work
this
with
is,
them.
this is so,
Has
this,
any of the tenants complained to the city? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yes. Tenants themselves have complained about the building, but of course, that general area is referred back to
Right.
the management company and
management,
the homeowners association, in which they haven't done any corrections.
Don't they own their individual apartment things?
Yeah, the
'Cause it would be in a
condos,
condo?
the condos themselves, yes, are individually owned, but we're not talking about violations within the condo. We're talking about in the
Yeah,
general
exterior,
common area.
gotcha. Okay.
Motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I make a motion based on the evidence presented to the Code Enforcement Board in case number 4950. The Code Enforcement Board finds that there is a violation of the Pembroke Park Code of Ordinance sections listed in the notice of violations, that the violations must be corrected within 10 days from today, and a mandatory administrative fee of $100 has been assessed. If the violations are not corrected within 10 days, this board imposes a per diem of $100 for each day. The violation continues until corrected.
Refer them to the unsafe structure
Right.
board.
and until the unsafe structures board decide, once they demolish it, then the $100 a day ends. But then the unsafe structures board, the county would lien the property for the work, for the time and expense. So
What
you
Harry
just
says.
incorporate
Put that
okay.
down, what Harry
Yeah.
says.
I'm just giving you a summary
Yeah.
of how it, you can do it that way. and
That's fine,
it'll be-
Harry.
it'll be
You did it very
corrected,
well, what Harry
whatever.
says. Put that,
You're adopting what Harry said.
I'm adopting what Harry says.
Okay, whatever.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, I think that's all the case.
Yes, good.
Item 8, building official comments.
Uh-oh.
Really?
I think, Chairperson, board members, my name is Miguel Nunez, building official. I think we already passed that already. My intent was to address the board, to introduce myself to each and every one of you as a building official for the town of Pembroke Park. And just to let you know that I remain attendant to every one of your needs, should you need me at any time, especially because now we have under the code enforcement under the building department, as part of the restructure of the town, and you're gonna see me more and more on these proceedings. I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
Lucky
No,
you.
that's good. You can inform us better, so which is
I'll
good.
take this long.
Appreciate it.
Not a problem,
For any comments?
but I'm here for you.
But
Thank you.
No,
Thank
so
you.
we're
Appreciate
now
it.
gonna meet apparently the third Thursday of the month, or, okay, if so, would everyone consider moving the meetings to maybe 5 or 6 PM rather than 7?
Not possible. but-
No, okay,
no,
well,
not- I
that
won't, I
is-
don't get home that early. I have to pick up my kids from school.
Okay, well, that's that then, all right.
So what time are we deciding?
I think maybe 6:30 is the earliest I could do. Earlier than that, I won't be able to. I won't.
6:30? Is
Earliest.
everybody in agreement?
But try for 6:30, but yeah.
But that's at least 30 minutes earlier, and you'll.
The same day, I mean, same
Of
Thursday,
course,
last
and the
Thursday. Okay.
staff.
No,
wouldn't
no.
have to
We're
hang around.
changing the meetings every third
Right.
Thursday.
It's to 6:30 they were talking about, rather than 7. That's being open for discussion, subject to what everyone wants
I'll
to
try
do.
definitely for 6, but yeah, earlier I can't promise to be here.
Third Thursday, isn't
6:30
what
is
we
at the
do normally?
earliest?
Or it's the fourth
Third
Thursday?
week, every third Thursday of the
Third
month.
Thursday, 6:30.
Yeah, whatever.
6:30, yeah, that way started in.
What did you say?
The third Thursday.
Okay.
6:30.
Come on.
What'd you think I said?
I don't know, I didn't hear what you, he's hearing things.
All right, just wanted
It's
to
past your
confirm
bedtime.
that we are
I mean,
on
are we-
agreement of the
Don't you
date.
put that down
Are
either.
we getting into trouble where we're short members or, you know?
Yes,
like I
we are
said,
short member right now.
One.
For the next meeting, I'll be gone, so I mean, in order to get a quorum, I would be.
We're
We borrow
hoping,
from other committees.
we're hoping that next
okay.
meeting will have more members, new members.
If not, they borrow.
Any comments? Have any comments,
That's
Mr.
what they
Ryan?
do.
Mr. Lawless.
Comments from the board?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Comments from the public?
Oh, give me a break. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
9:10.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion adjourned.